Welcome back to the A-Files podcast. Thank you so much for coming back. I'm just jumping right into it today. This case right here reminds me so much of the trade read case I'm covering and the constant inconsistencies when it comes to law enforcement and any sort of investigations that they conduct, because it's not looking great. I want to talk about this young 24-year-old black man named Kyren Lacy, and his case is absolutely heartbreaking. Lacy was a rising star over at LSU on the football team as a wide receiver. His teammates say that he was the fun guy, he was the smart guy, he was extremely skilled, he was extremely likable, and not only that, but he was going to be a part of the 2025 NFL draft. That's how good he was at football. So in January of this year, January 2025, Lacy's whole life changed. And it's all because the Louisiana State Police accused him of negligent homicide. The Louisiana State Police confidently said that Kyren Lacy recklessly passed multiple vehicles at a high rate of speed, which then resulted in a head-on collision and the death of 78-year-old Herman Hall. So, the Louisiana State Police accused Lacy of homicide. At the time, Lacy was driving a Dodge Charger and had a passenger with him, which is very, very important for you to remember that. Remember that there was always someone with Lacy at the time this was happening. So while Lacy turned himself in, he had always been very vocal about his innocence. That never wavered. Matthew Orley, his lawyer, was always going to bat for him from the beginning. He was very, very adamant that Lacy had nothing to do with the death of Herman Hall. So, according to police reports, this is what they're saying happened. The police alleged that Lacy crossed a center line in attempt to pass a slower vehicle, okay? That then caused a pickup truck driver to brake and swerve to avoid Lacy's car. Another vehicle then allegedly swerved around to avoid that pickup truck and then crossed the center line, crashing head-on with a vehicle that contained Herman Hall, the 78-year-old. Hall then died at the hospital. So they're saying all of that, all of this collusion, all of everybody, vehicles hitting each other, was caused by Kyren Lacy. And because of that, they charged him with negligent homicide. Okay? But now that might not be true. That might not actually be the case. And that's because Matthew Orley, Lacy's attorney, released security camera footage that honestly contradicts what the Louisiana State Police told the public months ago. And in fact, it shows that Kyren Lacy was 72.6 yards behind the crash. For context, people are saying that's almost a whole football field away. That he was 72.6 yards behind the crash. But that's not how it was painted to us. That's exactly what Matthew Orley said. His lawyer goes, that's not how this story was ever painted. And it wasn't. To note, the police are also alleging that he fled the scene. So they are allegedly saying he caused the accident and fled the scene. But according to Lacy's lawyer, it doesn't seem like that's the case. The footage shows that he was 72.6 yards behind the car crash, which is very weird, right? Why on earth would the Louisiana State Police Department say that he was the reason why the crash happened? But now we're seeing the footage. It just seems very strange and sketchy to me that that would even be their point of view from the jump, knowing that footage could have been captured. And I'm also a bit confused on why it took this long to get the footage. Who was holding this footage captive? Also, I just want to point out that there's no record of the police interviewing the person sitting next to Lacy in the car. No interview, no statement, nothing. Which again is very strange to me. Why wouldn't the investigators do a thorough investigation and talk to the passenger who is a witness to all of this? Very weird. But tragically, in April, actually, in 2025, April, he took his life. He shot himself. Yeah, he shot himself. Do you know how devastating that is? To hear that this young man shot himself, and then 6 months after he shot himself, he was found innocent. And I hate that I have to say allegedly, but we're still waiting to hear what the rebuttal is from the Louisiana State Police Department. He won't be here to hear about his own innocence. Do you get what I'm saying? It's just so devastating that you hear he took his life, you know? It's just, that's the heartbreaking part. And I could only imagine what it's like for his loved ones who've been speaking out on his innocence for months. And his teammates are all now seeing the videos too. But they've been all coming out saying that they knew this was all slander on his name. They knew he was innocent because they knew the type of person he was. So yeah, the Louisiana State Department, they have a lot of explaining to do. They really, really do. And we're going to keep an eye on it. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.